Hey YouTube, it's Elisha. I'm making this video to talk about something that just happened to me about an hour ago. Well, I just got off the phone about 10 minutes ago, but it happened about an hour ago at the beginning of our conversation that a lot of trans guys deal with that sometimes they don't know how to handle. So, I just got dumped by my most recent ex about an hour ago. And the reason that I did get, the reason I did get dumped was because she decided she didn't want to be with a man. And that her preference is really women. And even though she didn't identify with the label before and knew from before we even got together that I was trans, that it would be unfair to myself and her for her to continue in this relationship pretending that she was okay with it. And she said that, she didn't come to this realization till, the past few weeks. And I'm totally fine with it. I'm not hurt or upset in any way. Actually, I'm still happy about everything because life is great for me right now. I can say that. I'm I'll be 3 weeks on T tomorrow, and I'll be posting a video about that. I have a good job that pays me well. All the people there are totally respectful of my transition and my pronouns and my preferred name. Um, what else? I have a prospective job coming up where everyone is, well, not everyone's going to be okay with it, but I mean, I have a prospective job coming up where everyone will be working towards the same goal, and that is, a lifetime job. Well, not a lifetime, but a job to retire from in the shipyard. Everybody's going to be working towards that goal and trying to make sure that we, the new people, obtain that with apprenticeship and everything. And kind of got this whole relationship thing figured out before 2013, which is what I wanted. I didn't want to go into 2013 uncertain about what was going to happen and whatnot. What I want to talk about really though is a lot of us trans guys deal with this, and trans women. A lot of transgender and genderqueer people and asexual people and intersex people deal with rejection for what we are. And finding love is hard for us sometimes. Just because people tend not to understand, or we tend to be in this gray area between, what people want. A lot of times there's that whole idea of who do I date as a trans man? Do I date straight women or do I date lesbians? Both of which are accustomed to one thing, and now they have to become accustomed to something else. And people are very particular about their labels and who they love. And sometimes love isn't enough. She told me she's still in love with me, she still loves me, but that she prefers women. And it might sound kind of shitty or whatnot, but it's not. It's her preference. The same way I have preferences for the type of women I date. And the same way you have preferences for the people you date. Everyone has a preference. And in my opinion, it's not a bad thing to have a preference. It's not a bad thing to like what you like. If you only get this one life, live it the way you want to. I'm living it the way I want to, which is totally opposed to some people's views, totally opposed to the way some people feel you should live your life. Some people feel you shouldn't even live your life for yourself. It should be lived for giving back to your parents, the people who raised you, or giving back to your community. And some people live their lives totally selfish, where it's as much money as I can have, I'm not going to have anyone. So really, I can't tell anyone how to live their life, especially if I don't want anyone telling me. I'm totally okay with this whole thing. I'm not upset. I'm not sad at all. She still wants to be friends, and I think I'm at a point in my life now where I'm happy with who I am and the changes that I'm making in my transition to where I'm totally okay and open to that idea. Um, yeah, I'm not in any way upset. I know a lot of trans guys go through this, and this is like one of the first things that we deal with is how do we find love? How do we find someone to be with? How do we, find the girl or the guy that's really going to want to be with us as transgendered people and with our transgendered bodies, especially trans guys? We find this a lot just because of the out, just because of the results of our surgeries, you know? Um, it's definitely a big deal. It's definitely hard to find. It's hard enough to find love in general, but I think that there is someone out there for everyone, and I know there's someone out there for me, just that she wasn't the one, and that's totally fine. I've dated a lot of girls, and none of them were the one, and that's totally fine. That's okay. Yes, we did plan a future together and children and talked about all that stuff. But one thing that is good was our relationship was honest, and when she came to that realization, she told me. So now, oh, my voice is cracking, I think. Oh, I hate that. So now it's just kind of like, moving on with my life. There's so much that has happened for me in the past month that has been amazing. New job, started tea, another new job coming up on the way, making money, gonna be able to pay off all my debt, all my, like my car and school loan that I have and stuff. Gonna be able to save up money so that, in the future I could just have, a more comfortable life. I'm gonna be able to save up the rest of the money, the other half of the money I need for top surgery. Gonna start planning for top surgery in the summertime or the early fall. So, here I am dumped on one hand, and that could be a horrible thing to be rejected for being who you are and being true to yourself. But then on this amazing high, because my life is going so well, I just want people to know that there's no such thing as a good or a bad experience. Everything is experience. Even when you have something that might be a good experience, there's going to be some negative in it. And when you have a bad experience, there's going to be some positive in it. What you have to do is learn from that experience and grow. She helped me through a lot of tough times. She helped me get through a lot of depression, a lot of dysphoria. She never wasn't supportive of me transitioning. She never wasn't supportive of, me taking these steps in my life and coming out to people. And she never told me not to, and she never tried to talk me out of it. It's just that she doesn't want to be with a man, and that's totally okay. So I did learn a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about, you know, life as it's changing and moving, and as we're going in all these different directions. you know it's a learning experience, and that's how you have to look at everything. Getting rejected, getting dumped, getting hit on, it's all a learning experience. It's all going to be for the positive in the end, because that's one thing. Life always has a way of working out, that I found, even when it seems like it's horrible. you know like, life can't get any worse than this. It's going to lead to a blessing. You just have to wait for it. You just have to be patient. You have to stop worrying about the things you can't control. You have to stop focusing on ways to make things better, and just live in the moment and take what you can from the moment. One thing I've always said is that I'm not going to beg anyone to be my friend, and I'm not going to beg anybody to be with me. I want someone who's going to climb fences to be with me, not be on the fence about being with me. And sometimes people are on the fence, and that's totally fine, because, maybe years ago when I identified as a lesbian, maybe if one of my partners had told me I'm really male and I want to transition. Maybe back then when I was younger, or maybe when I was strong in my lesbian identity, I would have been like, I don't think I can be here for that. Because maybe that might have been the way I felt. I don't know. You know, you never know what you would do till you're in that situation. And sometimes, you know, what you say you would do is not really what you would do. And I just want to say to you guys out there that, you know, as you're coming out as trans and as you're starting to date people and you're wondering about whether or not you should tell them and how you should tell them and what if they don't want to be with you anymore, you have to realize you were born into this world alone and you will die alone. And you need to be comfortable with yourself as a single person before you can be comfortable with anyone as a couple. If you can't love yourself, if you can't be alone, being in a relationship is not going to be any easier. It's not going to work out even still. So I'm single. I'm proud to be single. I'm happy being single. I would love to be with someone, and I would have loved to spend my life with her. But at the same time, you know, all I have is me. That's the only person in this world that I can honestly depend on 100% of the time is myself. People won't always be there. Your parents won't always be there. Your friends won't always be there. People won't always be there for you. So you need to learn how to be self-reliant and happy with who you are and be focused on the blessings in your life versus the things that you feel are negative. I could really be upset and sad and depressed, and no one's ever going to love me because I'm transgender, and no one's ever going to love me because I'm not fully a male, like a biological male, or I'm not a woman anymore because my body will be changed. I could be that way, but for what? That's not going to bring about anything but more anxiety, more dysphoria, more depression, more, you know, self-harming thoughts, more suicidal thoughts. And I'm not here for that because life is going so well. And 2013 is going to be my turnaround year. I'm not having a New Year's resolution at all. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm going to do a New Year's resolution and live by it. The only resolution I have, which is the one I've had for years and years and years, is to take one day at a time, because the past 2 years have been bad years for me. They really have. 2011, 2012 were not the best years for me. But things are turning around. Just because they weren't the best years for me doesn't mean that I didn't have a lot of blessings in my life during that time, because I definitely did. Just as a whole, you know, they were kind of rough. And now that things have turned around, I'm not going to let anything take away the positivity and the happiness that I have found since the past, well, since December 10th. Well, the week before December 10th, when I went and had my job interview on the 6th. So since December 6th, things have been moving so quickly for me to be in a better position with testosterone, with money, with surgery, with everything. So I'm not going to let anything negative happen. And we can still be friends and we can still have a great relationship. That's totally fine. Or we cannot, and that's totally fine. But what you have to realize is that it doesn't make you less of a man, less of a person, less of, well, less worthy of love, less worthy of friendships, less worthy of anything. If someone doesn't want to be with you because you're trans, that's not horrible. That's not the end, because there'll be someone for you. You just have to wait on them. When you're looking for stuff, you usually find what you don't want. So just wait and then let the universe bring it to you. Let fate bring what you're supposed to have. I just want everybody to be safe tomorrow for New Year's Eve. Like I said in my last message, you know, don't put yourself in a situation to be, you know, hurt in any way. And also, don't depend on other people for your happiness. Find your happiness from within so you can be happy with yourself. So that even when someone breaks up with you because you're trans, you're still okay. And it's not the end of the world, because there'll be someone else. hey, it might be them again. You never know. Things change. So yeah, you guys know you can always contact me, email, comments on YouTube, or messages on Tumblr. All my information will be down in the description. Um, Happy New Year for everybody. And be safe. Peace.